Charity drives are pretty common around the world, but what about one that takes 3 months, moves 2,000 head of cattle across 800 kilometres of rough outback terrain just to make sure that everyone has a decent feed? That only happens in Australia.
Vast and unforgiving, this is cattle country, and it demands the toughest of bushmen to cross it.
Feed up a bit, eh?
This is a charity event and it would be one of the biggest that I know of.
3 months, 3 mobs, and 1 shot to get it right.
We've had a couple broken bones and we've had the cattle rush out of the break.
It's from daylight to dark and it's plenty of hours.
87 days, 800 kilometres from Longreach to Roma. Unbelievable.
We're here in Mitchell, a tiny outback town 600 kilometres west of Brisbane. Out here, it's day 72 of a marathon mission to move this massive mob of cattle across Queensland. The good news is the finish line is finally in sight, but there's still a whole lot of country left to cross. As first light creeps across the plains, the bush makes its call to man and beast. It's a ritual as old as the land they're travelling.
Breakfast is ready!
A hot cuppa and a hearty feed before saddling up for the long road ahead.
Wait. It's all open country. This is the glory run now.
This team of drovers spans generations, from seasoned veterans to fresh faces.
I love being with the cattle and stuff and working with my dogs and horses. I just love the teamwork that they put in. Even though they're animals, they give me their 100%.
What 16-year-old Jade lacks in age, she makes up for with resilience only the land can teach.
It's a lot harder than what people think. You've got to have a good stock sense and know how to read your mob. And you've got to know how to ride horses, especially energetic ones.
Like this. She's left school behind to chase life as a drover. And after being thrown from her horse and breaking her back 9 months ago, Jade's back in the saddle, steering cattle on a drive unlike any other. The sheer scale of the trek Jade and others are travelling is staggering. Spanning 800 kilometres, starting in the remote central west, cattle begin inching their way from Longreach through the harsh heart of Queensland. Guided by the steady hands of seasoned stockmen, they'll wind their way down stock routes as old as the country itself, making stops in 10 outback towns before completing their journey in Roma. What's quite remarkable is that of all the challenges that these drovers face, roads and traffic isn't one of them. For a muster of this size, they've obtained a special permit, which means out here, cattle have right of way. This mob won't be sold or slaughtered. The cattle's been donated by some of Australia's biggest beef barons, and they're being driven across the country to raise awareness for Beef Bank, a charity built on the concept that everyone deserves a good feed. They'll use the money raised to buy beef for other organisations that help those in need.
Bridget, I often think there's an opportunity that if we can give a decent meal to a person that's doing it tough, sometimes that meal gets them to turn around and they can feel as though, well, I'm worth something.
Anthony Struss, who goes by Bim, is the man behind the Great Australian Charity Cattle Drive.
And they'll probably just feed out until about 4:30. So they just give them a bit of time, then probably yard them about 5 o'clock.
It's mind-boggling to think today that we've actually got away with it. So much laughter, there's so much fun. We all have a few drinks at night time, but 6 o'clock dinner and 7:30 into bed. And, you know, I don't know what I'm going to do when I go home. Well, I've never been in bed by 7:30 ever.
Over 2 years, Bim carefully crafted his lineup of cattle controllers.
That they're just so quiet, but it's because of Billy Prow and the way he manages it and handles the cattle that they've developed into this mob that we've seen today.
What does it take to be a drover?
Oh, mate, it takes a bit of lot of cattle sense and cattle knowledge, and I think a fair bit of heart.
Born for the saddle, Billy Prowse been working the long paddock for 29 years.
A lot of people say, oh, it's boring and that, and I say, well, you look after them for the day, mate. Have them full and contented and happy and all together by the end of the day. There's not much boring about it.
To catch him with 2 boots on the ground is rare. From sun up to sundown, Billy's day is dictated by the rhythm of his mob.
You must be exhausted though.
Yeah, some nights you wake up all the time checking the cattle, and you only got to hear some sort of noise and you wake up, you sort of only get so many hours and I think your body gets used to it. Yeah.
I think they're eager to get a move on. Do you reckon they're encroaching? They're like, let's go.
Up and finish digesting.
As the cattle eagerly wind their way through the outback, locals, school kids and tourists have put their hand up to help.
My father, my brother and a couple of other my family mates, they've all been doing driving for a long time. I feel like really good to be part of it because I'm going to be part of history.
But it's the events that are being held once the drive is done for the day that's really fueling the fundraising.
After all your hard work on this drive, it must make you quite emotional to think of the end product.
It does, it does, and I get a bit tearful at times. I've got to be very careful sometimes.
There's so many people that are vulnerable. It can be from homeless to domestic violence. Not only that, it's now families. Statistics are now saying that 2 in every 5 people have some sort of food insecurity in Australia. That's quite alarming.
James Feen heads up a kitchen for FareShare, one of the charities that will receive mounds of meat once the drive is over.
James, this cattle drive really marks the start of a new supply chain.
So from every cattle, we're looking at 2,700 meals. So if we're getting 1,000 head over a course of a year, that's 2.7 million meals.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
The end of the cattle drive is drawing near, with just days left on their journey. But until then, each dusk brings with it the same comfort. The crackle of the campfire, a cold beer, hearty feast and even better company.
Cheers, cheers. Glad to be back.
Moments they'll carry long after the dust settles.
I'm 71 this year, and I just hope I can hang on another 4 or 5 years doing the same sort of thing. I just love it. I just love doing it.
What an experience, eh? Hard yakka, but for a very good cause.